Hello everyone, this is Floxcat, and welcome to pretty much the most interesting review I ever had to do, which is, of course, Legend Arceus. A game that admittedly has been out for a while. I know I'm way super late for the party, but I want to take my time on this game and, of course, go through the functions and, of course, learn to see if it's a really good game because leading up to it, this game has very been divisive among Pokemon fans. Not all the way because many people do love this game, but I've been through seeing a bunch of things been talk about the game. I wanted to go ahead and do my own review, and it's good timing since this is now taking place right after the game's launch and the announcement of Violet and Scarlet. So with that being said, let's talk about, of course, Legends Arceus. And of course, right up off the bat, many I want to say that this game is actually pretty great. Like this game, when it was first announced, I had confidence when it was announced. Not all the way because I was still mixed. The fact that it was released alongside Generation 4 remake, and we all know that I was a little bit on it because, like I said, and I'll say it again, it's obvious that Generation 4 remakes, and this game was added in for the experience, so that way Game Freak can win back the Pokemon fans because that's been what they asked for a while. And let's just say, if you guys have seen my Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl, I was deeply pissed off at that game to a point of no return. However, after that limbo, I was more confident to getting Legends Arceus, which fortunately I was able to get my hands on, so now I can do this review. And to be honest, I am willing to say that this game is a great game. It may have its few flaws, but it really is a very perfect game, to say the least. And it really is probably one of my favorite Pokemon games to date. Now, of course, the question is this game compatible for newcomers to come in? And to my opinion, I say kind of, only because the way how Scarlet and Violet is looking, it looks like that Pokemon is going to focus more on the Legends Arceus format, or Pokemon Legends, as I'm thinking they might do in the same way how Shin Tensei did Persona and make a brand new series of line that's connected to the mainline series, but you know, it's its own separate storyline, being the whole Legends thing. And I only say that because I feel like Scarlet and Violet is looking up towards more like Legends Arceus right now. But of course, Legends Arceus is actually not that bad. It actually isn't even hard to get a grasp on, even though it's definitely uniquely different. And it's definitely unique in many different ways. The biggest difference is how they changed the battling and catching Pokemon. And also the Pokedex. You probably heard this many times, but this is not a joke. The reason for this is because originally when you catch a Pokemon, usually get it registered in the dex, but there's now the fact that you have to literally do everything to look up what this Pokemon is. You have to use certain moves, you have to catch a number of them, you have to defeat a number of them, you have to do all kinds of things with them in order to get the actual Pokedex finished. Which might be a little bit tricky for some because usually in a Pokemon game, many people, including myself, usually just catch a Pokemon and move forward. But but now it's kind of a little bit to my opinion, I think the Pokedex stuff is balanced at least. The only problem I do have is they match up with the Pokedex thing with the level progression of the game. For those who do not know, in Pokemon, in order to keep the game and play through balance, in the original games, you usually have to catch badges or complete a trial in order to literally move up the ranks and have your Pokemon level balance with that. For example, if I do use a Charizard and I'm only just beginning the game, I'm going to have to need 5 badges because that Charizard is level 60, or I guess 30. I don't know, but you know where I'm going with it. If it over levels to that limit, then it won't obey you. Which again, it's completely fine for me, at least because it doesn't really hinder the actual main story. But it really does become oof for a while, and it's also kind of oofy because in reality, some people may not want to capture multiple Pokemon at the same time. Again, it's not a big deal, especially since they actually did somehow able to make this work by making the catching fun. And that's actually the major highlight of this game is how they changed the catching system. Of course, you can still do the usual thing by beating the crap out of the Pokemon, and then when it gets to a certain level, you can catch it with a Pokeball. However, they changed it where it's basically you can also somewhat hunt for them. You can literally sneak up them and throw Pokeballs, and there's even new balls to kind of dominate what type of situation you're in. If you're far away from a Pokemon, you can use a freaking Sky Ball, which is like a sniper ball that you can use. If you're very close to a Pokemon and want to catch it for good, you can use a Heavy Ball. Keyword, a different type of Heavy Ball, as this is a brand new one paired to the other one. It's very unique in the same way, and I will admit I love it so much. I love grabbing the Pokemon through that thing. It's also very dangerous because you can get knocked out by their attacks, and they're extremely dangerous. Also, worth note that exploring around it is also great because you also have this able to use Pokemon again like TMMs, such as flying and swimming across sea, and it's really fun and all that. Now, obviously, the major question is though to some people is if the game's good, what about the story? I mean, if the gameplay is good, what about the story? And that's actually pretty much also a good thing because yeah, Legends Arceus is probably one of the most written stories I've seen so far in Pokemon to date right now since after Pokemon Sun and Moon. I say that because while yes, the story can get a little bit boring if you're not very good to want to read it, it is chock full with lots of things. Like I want to make this crystal clear here. My review, I'm only doing the main game. I know there's a post story and all that and blah blah blah, and I kind of spoiled what that post story was. But even alone, the reason why I'm only doing the main story is because even then the main story is full of lot of very serious, dark topics that Pokemon hasn't touched in a while. And that is even reflected to that of the new Pokemon they added in. Like, as many people know, my favorite uh, new Pokemon as of now is the Zora and Zoroark line. And after seeing their Pokedex increasing beforehand, I could tell that this series was getting dark. And I will say, I'm glad that I didn't pay attention to most of the gameplay that people was putting out because I was just stunned at how dark it got with the legendary and all that. But in the end, it was a very good story to say the least. Something that really is interesting. The characters, on the other hand, it depends on your taste. I'm okay with some of the characters. There's a lot of lore with them. Like hell, I even did a Pokemon theory video on one of them because it literally is. But the problem is, I can see people may not be truly intrigued with the characters. They do still do a lot, but the story plot is like you go to one area, there's one Diamond Clan and one Pearl Clan. They have some conflict or some connection, blah blah. You do the whole battle with the boss thing, which we'll get into in a bit, and then you move on. There are developments in these characters, don't get me wrong, and I do love seeing these characters. And I also do love the whole gimmick of the Diamond Clan and the Pearl Clan being down each other's throats in some cases. Keyword some cases, as some others of those Diamond Clans. There's even one, spoiler warning, there's even one that's actually in love with each other. So It's definitely complicated, but the problem I do have, at least one problem, which I bet they probably didn't do it because it may risk the rating. But I'm actually surprised they didn't really have them do a war with each other because the Diamond Clan and Pearl Clan are somewhat down each other's throats sometimes, but they always still seem to work together. And that's not a bad thing, but I do wish if they're going to do another Legends Arceus type thing or another Legends game, I hope next time they do it like there's actually a clan who's about to literally kick each other's butts. I mean, I'm actually okay with it because they still, in the end, made them realize they don't need to be down each other's throats. But they didn't do a good job showcasing that, is my point. But it's still good characters, and I do love some of the characters, other characters as well. Like there's even like, believe it or not, I really do like the commander because his backstory is dark. Like it really is, and it explains a lot. Like the emphasis of the game, of the story in the game, is the fact of how much these characters are afraid of the Pokemon. Because again, this is literally the first region of the series in the timeline, if even timeline cares because of the ultra home, but we're not going to get into it. And they do a good job. Like one of the biggest highlights of this game does a great job of showcasing how dangerous these Pokemon is and stuff. And that is kind of the big point. Like they really do a good job of it. Especially with when you're doing it on your own in gameplay, because if like you're literally been sent into the future in the past to make sure the idea of Pokemon and humans being with Pokemon is official. That's the whole point of why Arceus send you there, and also to stop a certain person. But that's a major spoiler, and we're not going to get into it. But seriously, that's the whole point of why Arceus himself send you to the world. Because let's be real, you are the biggest person in importance here because you need to show the people that Pokemon are dangerous. Now, with that being said, going back to the gameplay wise, another cool thing that I'm okay with, but it is kind of a rather big critique, is the fact of the boss battles. Like, I just finished, at the time of recording, I just finished up with Dialga's battle. And I gotta say, it was tough, but not passable at best, because believe it or not, what makes these battles so awesome is that even if you do mess up, all you have to do is, if you don't want to truly start over, you can just literally just choose certain inputs and you actually get into it back where you left off with that battle, which is really helpful because I know a lot of people complain that, oh, these boss battles are easy as F. But let me just be real with you. Actually, they're kind of balanced because literally some of the attacks that these boss battles have are kind of broken. Like, the worst part about these boss battles, in my opinion, is the fact that since I have broken joystick a little bit here, it's hard to dodge them. Like, they're fun, don't get me wrong. I love, like, my favorite one had to be the Algavin, the iceberg Pokemon, because it literally was a true full-fledged boss battle. But I feel like that's actually balanced because, first of all, some of these attacks cannot be avoided. Like, if I had to tell you the least favorite of my boss battles out of everyone, even though I love all of them, but the one that I love the least has to be the Electroid one. Because he has freaking electric balls following you. So you kind of do need that savior of the fact that you can start back when you left off if you get KO'd. Just saying. And that is really balanced. I get it that it might be a little bit too easy, but to be fair, it's literally is fair. And I think that's also with the legendaries as well. Again, I only just finish off with the main story, not the post story. But that's enough for me to know that this game is at least fair. Even though the final actual villain boss I heard is not fair for some reason or another. But who knows? Another thing I do want to tackle is the new Pokemon, including the final evolutions of the starters and technically the new Pokemon in his human forms. Because just like in Pokemon Sword and Shield and Pokemon Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they added new regional forms and stuff. And I gotta say, like I said, I do love Zora and Zoroark's new region forms because they're my favorite. Like I literally catch one, and I mean you can tell because even the thumbnail of this video is. Admittedly, I'm kind of a mixed bag on them. To be honest, I'm okay with them. They fit greatly with the game because it's a region form. What you expect. But I'm actually half and half on some. Some of the designs are pretty cool. Like I said, I love Zoroark's and Zora's who see regional form. And I actually do also admit that I do love the regional variants of the starter Pokemon's Final Evolutions because they look good. But then we get to something like the Orson Bear and the there's a bunch of others. The Goomy line. Like Goomy line is a little bit okay, but it's definitely kind of weird with the shell. I mean it makes sense in some cases, but and to be fair, the actual new evolutions and the only, I want to say the only new Pokemon, but like true new Pokemon with what was the freaking Spirit of the Forest? No, Forces of Nature. The new one when they added the spring, that's okay. I mean, heck, at least they actually finish line it, unlike the first trio, the legendary bird trio, because they only did that because they needed spring for the summer, winter, and fall. If you don't understand your idea of the force of nature, and blah blah blah. But all they're okay designs. They really are okay designs, and they do fit well with the game, and also they're pretty unique to say the least. But they're definitely muddy. As for the art design of the game, that's also kind of a mix. Like I said, I will defend it because, like I said, and a lot of people don't get it, the whole point of the reason why the freaking art design looks a little bit grounded is because it's supposed to be based off old Japanese artworks and stuff. Which what makes the game, to my opinion, pop a little bit because it really is like back in the old days of Japan. That's the whole point of the game. But after playing it myself and seeing a little bit of the art design, I'll still defend it. I think that's a positive for me, but I can see why that thing is now mixed. But hey, at least the graphics are a little bit more better than the Blast thing. I mean, at least they improve in Pokemon Sword and Shield because that's actually one thing I will agree on a little bit. I mean, yeah, I will defend Pokemon Sword and Shield's graphics as well because at least it's more colorful. But I will admit that at least they improve a lot. Like they have facial expressions towards the characters. They have much more character design, much more actual good coloring in the region. I mean, say all you want. If the coloring looks like crap, at least it looks better than freaking Sword and Shield. I mean, I even remember seeing the first part of GP Reed's own gameplay, which I actually didn't know. But I do believe, because they actually now also even involving it with Scarlet and Violet, is the fact that they are giving true details to these Pokemon. Like the compound eyes and all that. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, to say the least. Like, I understand if you don't like the art style, that's fine. But all in all, it's pretty much a good experience. And that's about it. Like, that's literally about it to my review. Like, there's nothing else to truly say about the review. It's just a very good game, and I actually do recommend you guys get it. I know my review was really late, but that's the whole point because back when it was released, there was a lot of controversy behind it, if you know what I mean. But now, after, a while back, and since it also took me a while to beat this thing, I can definitely guarantee you that it is worth your time. Yes, there are going to be some little hiccups, but I definitely recommend it. And I hope that Scarlet and Violet actually go through with the same thing. Like, I do now have confidence with, Game Freak now. We just gotta hope and pray things go better. Just saying. But anyways, what do you expect? It's freaking Pokemon. I don't care. But anyways, the rating, I'll give it an A+, not full-fledged S, because like I said, it might be one of the great games so far I ever played. It doesn't beat out freaking Pokemon Y, and like I said, there are a few issues that some people might come through it, But it's still a very awesome game. I still recommend you get it. And literally, I do appreciate it. And hopefully, Game Freak can go on the right track from Legends Arceus. Because, yeah, they definitely need to fix themselves after freaking Diamond, freaking Pearl, and also the whole other BS they've been into. So, anyways, yeah. Anyways, this has been Floxcat, and I'm snapping out of here. Bye-bye.